Good good day everybody. We are back here today for Memories of a Dinosaur with
Wilhelm von Hohenzollern.
hmm,
So what we're going to be talking about today is we've ran into the proverbial brick wall that has to do with people, names, and ages. What happens is, in this industry, people will come into the industry under one name, and then they'll do a complete career shift and become somebody else, and that name is just sort of abandoned. And then you also have people, okay, we're going to talk about, we're going to use the most interesting man in the world, Sidney Greenberg. The gentleman has changed his name 3 different times in his life.
3 times?
That 3 that I know of.
Wow.
He used to play bad guys on television westerns. That character got buried. And then he changed his name. He ended up back to his own name when he got through in life. But what happens is, actors will get associated with one type of role and don't want to be associated with that role. So then they change their name and won't take that type of role. And then it sets in your background for 20 years. And nobody pays any attention. All of a sudden, here's the thing is, a lot of people do not want to be older than what they are. If you're a woman, you don't want to be known, well, God, she used to be known as the lingerie lady. And she's basically America's sweetheart. No. So they bury that name with a new name. And then they separate because they didn't used to have oldies television like they have now. You go, the Heroes Network, where they got all these westerns and they got all of these, they had all the war movies and sci-fi, all these things that can go back 70 years. I mean, I have a family member called Charles Sterrett that basically would love to hide, he would have loved to hide the fact he used to do bad college musicals. And he became a cowboy star and he wanted to bury those things. You have dramatic actors that wanted to bury the fact that they were, like Abbott and Costello when they were younger. They did teen comedy. You have people that basically were known for comedy that became great dramatic actors. They buried those characters. So when you do a show where you're talking about the past and they don't want to talk about the past because it affects them right now. I mean, okay, for instance, I used to dance with a lady in a lot of movies who celebrated her 60th birthday last week. The only problem was she's the same age as I am. She's buried over 20 years of her life. Just buried it because she became, she got married and she just used the married name, and then they buried it. So, I mean, right now, leading up to World War II, okay, with respect, and I said, well, here's one whole problem. When I was growing up, I only spoke with the Dutch for a while, and I spoke with the Dutch, and I also did a Gaelic, because that's what was spoken in my house. Until I got to be age, I didn't know that well, I hadn't been in school yet because I was too young. I didn't know that German and Gaelic was not the language that was spoken at home. So, and then that got corrected one day when those come up and told my parents. He said, if you want your son to be able to work anymore, he's going to have to learn English. And I got, English? Was ist los? And then my father and mother both started speaking English. And I couldn't understand a single word they said. They sat there and explained to me in German. And my grandmother was speaking Gaelic. And they explained to me, no, we just simply didn't feel it was necessary. Because you weren't in school, so it was a big deal. That's what they spoke in the house. Because here's the trick is, while the Germans and the Irish and the Italians, everybody assimilated, they spoke the same bloody language that they spoke in Ireland and Prussia and in Italy and Spain in their homes. So what language does a kid pick up that's surrounded by people that are speaking German and Irish? So that part of my career. So for years I used, and then because World War II was rolling and my family are Jews too, so they basically changed my name from my German name to a less offensive screen name, and then they put me in roles of German kids, which was stupid. Like I don't look like I'm German, so I played Germans. They called me by they changed Wilhelm to William. So and then they changed they hyphened my last name. So and then put an E in there that didn't belong. They put an E in a spot that wasn't existed before. Yeah, but so we put in, got off a lot of credits in that, and then all of a sudden last year it was discovered that person didn't actually exist, so the credits got zapped, and but that's what happens. I mean, I wanted those credits because I'm old and I don't care about being old, but like I said, we need to make Memories of a Dinosaur work. You have to get people that are basically, they did work that they didn't get credit for and are proud of and want people to know about it. If you're still working, they don't want people to know that you did it.
But here's part of it is Memories of a Dinosaur is not just about people that are still alive.
I know.
Because, for example, they also told those stories to their children or their grandchildren.
And here's a secondary problem, because I have actually, okay, I grew up knowing both sides of a lot of people because I was a film brat, and I knew that some of the really good guys were monsters, and some of the people, screen monsters, were people that basically would go out and play baseball with the kids or play football. They were really nice guys and nice women. I mean, some of the biggest bitches in Hollywood. Okay, one of them was I was a teenager on a movie, and she was a teenager on the movie, but she was like 4 years older than I was. She was super hot, and they basically made some stupid comment about how hot she was then. And then, like, in the late 1940s, she started making movies playing an older woman, and then she actually got into producing movies. And she, as a joke, she basically said, "You think I'm still super hot?" And I said, "Well, you were a blonde then." So, so I won that one real quickly. But she also had a great sense of humor, but she tried her life to bury being the 1930s, early 1940s, really hot blonde that everybody wanted to have in their movies.
Well, sometimes it's a total change in character.
And they don't want that old character. And the family makes money off of her being the bitch. They don't make money off of her being the funny, hot chick.
But I also remember what you told me, that one gentleman had told an actor, they said, "Did you get paid for that role?"
Oh, God, yeah. That was, we got an actor that basically was in the Beach Party movies, really punk. He was just an extra, like I was. He danced, he did backflips, he wiggled, he was really a goofy person. Like we spent one movie doing backflips into a swimming pool because we could. Because he'd say, "Can you do that?" "Oh, yeah." And then we get up on the thing again. I would flip and he would flip, and he got laid the riot act by the producer. And the guy, the producer simply said, you got paid for it. He said, "I used to do roles playing the trumpets in bad World War II musicals." And he said, well, and then he said, "The bad part about it was I was not a good trumpet player, and they still paid me." They said, "Why?"
But they still paid him.
They said, "Why did they do it?" "Because I really looked good on camera with the trumpet, even though I couldn't play the trumpet worth a darn. But he looked good, and they wanted to, that's how he got to be what he did, was because the camera